Christen Press, as much as we want to talk to you, please could you can you get Bob over? We need to see Bob.
You will see Bob, but I am trying to get Bob to chill so that I can do this interview.
Okay.
Hang on. Whoa. What's Bob? Fill us in. Who's Bob? What's Bob?
Bob is my girl dog that's named Bob.
Awesome.
We named our girl dog Bob.
Amazing.
She's 10 months old, and she has a really hard time settling when I'm home because I'm not home a lot because I've been traveling a lot. And so whenever I'm home, she's so excited that she just like won't sleep and won't nap. But here she comes.
What kind of dog is she?
There she is.
She's
there
a
she
mutt.
is. Hi, Bob. Oh no, Bob can't hear because she hasn't got headphones. Is Bob a rescue?
Yeah, she is. She's half Blue Heeler, which is like the dog from Bluey, you know, and then she looks like Doberman, Roddy, you know, yeah.
This is too much. So Theo has got a dog recently.
So I've just recently got a guide dog. So we're volunteering to look after a guide dog, train it for a year and a half, give it away. So it's going to be really hard. But I'll tell you one tip actually will help you try and settle Bob down. Have you heard of a Kong toy?
Yes. She goes nuts for the peanut butter.
Or peanut butter?
But then that's her going nuts. We don't need her going nuts.
Well, no. Theo puts dog shit in his. That's how it works.
It looks like dog shit.
Okay. This interview has already gone into a whole new direction, as it so often does.
I don't fully believe there's not going to be a small part of you that says, should I stay retired?
I have so many doubts.
You do?
So why did you retire then?
That's a good question.
This is like therapy.
I remember being in the States and I'm thinking, I feel like I could play out in the States. It's always important not to make decisions when you're on holiday.
So I'm scheduling my workouts first, and then Tobin, and then everything else. That's like the order of priorities right now. Women's sports is the most investable thing in the world right now. It's just on a rocket ship. At that time, being a pro didn't even afford you a life. I scored a ton of goals in college. I won youth national championships. I won the Mac Herman. And I was like, what's a girl got to do to get a call up, right? Right now, the entire staff is making more money than all the players. Change that model, retain our stars.
This woman should be running women's soccer in the United States.
What's the one thing you want people to remember you as?
Bench shot, upper V, right foot.
Great answer.
Christen Press, this is an absolute joy to have you on It's Called Soccer. You and Bob, for anyone who's listening and not watching, we have Bob, the rescue puppy, right there, hopefully envisioned as much as possible, but we're trying to keep Bob calm. Okay, Christen, you were just saying to us that you've been away a lot because when I catch up with what you're doing, I feel like, how did you ever have time to play football? Because you are so busy and now you're retired. I feel like you're even busier. So you retired and Bob's not very happy. I feel like Bob does want to be on the show. But feel free to bring Bob in if Bob wants to come in. Christen, you retired in October, or you announced your retirement in October. How are you dealing with no football?
Okay, so it doesn't 100% feel real yet. I feel like I could just be in the off season because that's how it goes. I think once my team goes back into preseason and I don't, I think that's when I might actually have to. Should I just put this dog away? Let me put this dog away. Let me be right back.
Okay. Okay, Bob's going. Bob's going.
Bob's gone.
Bye, Bob.
Bob's gone. See you, Bob.
Bob is gone. I'm so sorry. She's so cute, but now I'm going to be professional.
Why we aren't.
No, exactly. If I could have my dog here, I would. Okay. You were saying that right now it kind of feels like the off season, and it'll only be when they go back to preseason when you'll be like, what is happening?
What is happening? And I have a really hard time slowing down, which is why I was saying my dog doesn't settle when I'm around because I'm very busybody. And I think it's really important when you're going through such a transition that I try to like stop and pause and be still for a little bit. So I'm struggling to do that. I'm extremely busy. I like booked all these trips and I have all these like obligations. I'm running my business, but I'm really going to try over the next 3 months to pause and be a little bit more slow. I have a 3-week trip to Japan planned in March. So I'm trying to do like as little as possible until I get to that trip. And then that's like my team will be back in preseason. I'll come home from my like, oh, I've retired and I've traveled the world thing. And I think I'll actually have to like grapple with the reality that I'm not playing football anymore.
Is that the exciting thing now? Being able to just do things, open up, like this world's just open up to you thinking, oh, I can go and do this now. On my own time, I can go and do this without people actually saying you to be somewhere at a certain time, eat the right foods, say the right things, should we just call it? But is it kind of nice to have that freedom a little bit? Because I felt like it when I finished,
so
for
nice.
me, the freedom element.
I mean, it just feels like even when we were in off season or when I had free time, it was like a guilt because like every moment you're awake, you're a professional athlete. So there is no break. There's no turning off. Like how you eat, how you sleep, how you treat your body at all times is the job, right? And now I just live in fear that I'm going to become an unfit person. So I might be like eating and working out more. I might be eating healthier and working out more because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't burn 1,000 calories a day. What's going to happen to my body?
Taylor's doing all right.
I had no problem doing that, Theo. Thank you very much. I am doing just fine.
That is so
Kristen,
funny.
you'll be fine. Trust me.
You will be,
Trust me, Kristen, you'll be fine. You'll enjoy it. However, I don't fully believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that when preseason starts, there's not going to be a small part of you that says, hey, should I stay retired?
I have so many doubts. Already I'm like, oh man, yeah, I grappled with the decision. And I say this because I think a lot of people are like, I made this decision. Like, yeah, everything's perfect. But like the reality for me is that I grappled with the decision all year. And I actually think I was out for 2.5 years with my ACL. It was like the most ridiculous ACL return known to mankind. So I actually don't feel like I ever fully got back. So I was out for 2.5 years and I played for just over a year. And I was fully back and able to play, but I think I was still recovering. Like my speed was still going up. My mind was still starting to work faster and faster. So I have this part of me that's like, I think if I played one more season, I would have gotten even better.
Closure. You'd have closure.
And yeah, and I love it so much. Like I already asked my coach, I said, can I just come out and train periodically? Because I can't imagine.
Good luck.
I mean, I can't like go play pickup on the street, right? So I'm never going to play football again. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So my coach and my GM are like, we're not really sure that's going to be the right move for the team to just you be holding on with both hands. But I'm going to try because I will miss training the most. Just being out in the sun, being with the team, doing like just working towards excellence, doing what I love. Like I will miss it. There's no doubt about it.
So why did you retire then?
That's a good question.
This is like therapy.
Kristen, no, seriously, why?
Yeah, it is.
What was the moment then where you're like, I mean, 2.5 years with an ACL is truly unheard of, and so good on you, by the way, the perseverance to even come back and fight through that and play that. That is truly remarkable. But what was the moment then? What was the moment where you're like, I don't know if I should?
Yeah, it was clearly hard for me. And I got to this point where I would look at both of my lives and I'd say, I'd play again, I'd sign another single-year contract, or I would stop. And both sides, I was like, I get to travel the world. I get to run my business. I get to start a family. And this is like, I get to run on the grass with my team. And what I thought was, if I make it back to the best level I ever played at, and I'm scoring goals week in and week out at the NWSL, like that's a reality I have already lived. And like the best thing that could happen would be I could go back to how it was maybe 5 years ago. And on this side, like it's a whole life I've never lived. And I wanted so badly someone to just make the decision for me not to be able to play because I didn't think I'd have the courage. So I was waiting for like a sign, like, I can't play. My team won't sign me. Like, it just doesn't make any financial sense. Like, I have to be responsible. But the truth was that wasn't coming. And it's like, say I went back and I was better. Like, who's to say I couldn't be better the next season? You know? So like at some point I felt like I had to take my own life into my hands and make a decision. And it just came down to wanting something else more than I wanted that.
And Kristen, I feel like it must help because you have the 2 World Cups, you have the Olympic medal, you have 155 US Women's National Team appearances, you have the 64 goals. You have done pretty much everything, but you mentioned there about possibly starting a family. Is that, for you and Tobin, is that a huge thing? Do you want to be mums?
You know, we do want to be moms, but I feel that we are kind of open and flexible into what that journey looks like for us. So I always thought about adopting, and like that's just, you know, in a same-sex relationship. As a professional player, I'm 36. Like that was always what I imagined the life would be. But now I feel like the world's so open and there's so much opportunity for us to start a family and decide what that really means for us. So we don't have like a solid plan. I definitely don't want to jump into this next thing that'll be all consuming. I want to create a little bit of space. But I think when I even say like start a family, I think it's interesting because both Tobin and I put football over family our whole life. And that's not to say we didn't love our family more than football, but our families wanted us, like our childhood families wanted us to prioritize football. So we missed weddings, we missed graduations. And so we've lived our whole life in relationship prioritizing our career. And so it was like no issue for us. I was like, of course she's prioritizing her career, so am I. And now I think for the first time we're looking at a life like, what does it look like to prioritize our family? And if that's Tobin, me, and Bob, if that's Tobin, me, and Bob and kids, it's a whole different world where you get to put your love first. And I think that's something that's interesting and new for us.
Oh, I
Love that, Theo.
I cry.
Love that.
Goodness
I
me.
know.
That's amazing. Honestly, like, no, you just touch everyone there because like it's always that schedule side of things you really live for, isn't it? And you know, that's the next step for you now, having that creative side of yourself and the interest in the art and design. But of course, you want to grow that as well, and it's that balance. So how are you going to find this next year to get that balance right without doing too much, but having enough time for each other and for Bob, of course? Like, how do you manage that? I know it's quite early and soon, I get that, but in your, you know, right away now, how do you see it happening and developing?
Yeah, I think for the last 5 years, I've been the CEO of a business and played soccer at the same time. So I had these 2 careers that I think really balanced themselves out nicely. Like I would go to practice, I would be completely off devices. CEOs don't get to do this, right? So I had like 6-7 hours of my day where I was completely detached from that side of my work. And then I was able to come home, sign on, check on my team, run my meetings. And it allowed me to sign off of football. And, in the peak of my career in 2019, that's when I started this company. And I was at a place in my career where I could not stop thinking about football. And running this business allowed me to kind of flip a switch, and it helped me play better because I wasn't so all consumed. And so I think about designing my life in that way where there's a natural balance. Things I think about in a post-football world is like designated device-free time, because football gave me that. And I think that's really important to me, to be outside, to be moving my body, and to be offline. And I think about designing my days with intention. I read something recently where it was like, schedule your fun first, and then put the rest in, because if you schedule your fun last, you'll never have time for it. And I think that's sort of how I'm approaching family. It's like, I told you, I'm like having so much anxiety about not working out. So I'm scheduling my workouts first, and then Tobin, and then everything else. That's like the order of priorities right now.
Theo, how long have you been retired?
2.5 years, and it's gone just like that. I can't believe how quickly it's gone. That's the mad thing as well. Honestly, it just goes, and you don't realize how quickly it goes, because it's fun away from it. It is. It's scary, and I always have those feelings, and you go back into it thinking, oh, should I come out of retirement? I remember being in the States, and I'm thinking, I feel like I could play out in the States. I always felt to myself, though, but if I had the same feeling when I'm back home, doing my normal things, cracking on, doing my normal life, however I see it, then I'll come out of retirement. It's always important not to make decisions when you're on holiday. And that was the case for me. But yeah, no, it's gone so quickly, and you'll realize
Think
that.
about it.
But look,
2.5 years.
It's been enjoyment. It's been a lot of
and
enjoyment.
I'm at 16, Rebecca. I'm at 16. So, Kristen, that leads me to my question. What's the one thing you want people to remember you as? And I'm talking about the footballer Christen Press.
Bent shot, upper V, right foot. I have like a signature shot, and I was always like fussy about how I scored.
Great answer. It is.
Yeah. Like there is like a good goal and then there's a goal and they all count the same, but not in my heart, you know? Like I liked to score a goal that looked like me. And I think it was because I spent so many hours. I spent 10,000 hours shooting, of course, but I spent 10,000 hours on my bent right foot shot. That was the way I wanted to score. And the more I scored that way, the harder it became because everyone knew that's what I was expecting to do, right? So every time I kept scoring that way, it just made me happier and happier. The last season and a half that I played, I was always on the left side. No, I was always on the right side. So it had to be a left foot bend.
It had to be the left foot. No.
And I scored, every goal that I scored in those seasons was my left foot bent because I was trying so hard to stay true to me. But they just weren't as pretty, you know? Like no. I liked when I saw the shot and I saw a gap between the ball and the post. And then it went in. Then I was like, then I did it. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Christen, I think the moral of Theo's story, by the way, is that you should not make any decisions when you're in Japan. I feel like that 3-week vacation coming up in March, do not make any decisions over a delicious bowl of sushi at any stage. What I want to ask you about is your sort of slightly non-traditional route in the game. We know you didn't join or you weren't called up until I think you were 24 for the US Women's National Team, didn't play in any of the youth teams, which is pretty unusual, especially these days. But you also played outside of the US. You played in England, you played in Sweden. So for you as a person, maybe away from you as a footballer, where did you develop as a person the most? England, Sweden, or at a certain time in the US, would you say?
Well, that's a tough question because I feel like each part of my life had its purpose. But I think my decision to move to Sweden when the WPS, the prior league in the US, folded was super transformative in my life. You know, I always say all the players that were born in my year like disappeared because you were either a US Women's National Team player by my rookie season or the league folded. And you basically got forced into retirement. And there was a group of us that was like, no, I'm not being forced into retirement because of this league. And we were all dreaming of the US Women's National Team. Like, let's be honest, like at that time, being a pro didn't even afford you a life. So it was, you had to bet on yourself so much that you were going to go play in a country in Sweden where at the time you couldn't even find the games. No one even knew you existed. But I was betting on this dream of making the national team. And that time was really important to me. I think I look back on it now and I say, like, if I had done the same thing that everybody else did, I was always behind because I didn't go to the Youth World Cup. I wasn't in camp. And so I had to go outside of myself in order to, like, close the gap. And, you know, I had a lot of stress and I had a lot of anxiety about not being on the national team. And, you know, I scored a ton of goals in college. I won youth national championships. I won the Mac Herman. And I was like, what's a girl got to do to get a call up, right? Like I felt like so much anxiety about it. And so when I left, it was sort of the scenic route to the national team. Like I thought it was impossible to be seen there. So as a person, which is what you asked, like I sort of just said, I get to be reborn. I get to be whoever I want. I had a really hard time in college because I missed home so much. And then there I go flying halfway across the world. And I was just free of all those expectations and learning new languages and working with people who I couldn't even like really understand and communicate with, trying new foods. Like I lived in Gothenburg. It's the cutest little town. It just rains all the time and you just take the tram around. It's like so wholesome. And I think I got to discover that I could be whoever I wanted to be. And I didn't feel like so much a victim of my childhood environment, which kind of produced one type of person. And I realized that as an adult, I got to be whoever I wanted to be. And that really translated to a joyful, more free version of me as a footballer, but also as a person.
You talk about growth. I just want to actually ask you about the women's game. How do you like see the landscape for the sport evolving and what needs to be done more, maybe, perhaps? I know you're quite strong on this, but what do you see in the next 5 years, should we just say, in the women's game? Because it's growing in England massively. I just feel for you, how do you see it right now?
It's insane. It's insane. I think women's sports is the most investable thing in the world right now. It's just on a rocket ship. And yeah, in the US, that's across sports. Like, we're about to see a bunch of new leagues pop up and explode, and people fall in love with a whole new group of athletes. I think that for women's soccer in our country, so much has been the national team centric. That was sort of like our club team. My generation, we spent more time in national team than club. So we just like had this like special bond and experience that also fans really related to. It was like a sisterhood. And so I think for us right now, it's translating that stardom, that interest, that love, that relationship with the fans to our domestic leagues. We have obviously a really strong league in the NWSL, but there's a lot of structural issues in terms of how it is invested in, how it is marketed, the pay structure for the players that I think hold us back. I want to see a player-centric league. I want to see an ownership structure where players get to participate in the upside of the valuations. You're seeing record-breaking fees for these teams, and people's year-over-year money is just like skyrocketing, and the player's salary cap is just left behind, and it's the one part of our league that's capped. And I will say from experience, there's like a real thing about financial liberation. It is not just so that the players get paid more. It's so that in every day of a player's life, they get treated with respect. Right now, the entire staff is making more money than all the players. And so there's just the whole culture of the game is like flipped on its head. And I think the real opportunity that we have is to change that model. And I think that also allows us to remain competitive with other leagues that don't have the same issues, retain our stars. This is the US. We're a league of stars. The fans love players. Our badges don't have the same history. So we have to keep our stars. We have to be able to recruit international stars to our game to make sure that the level is the best in the world. And I think once we're able to do that, I'm starting to watch the WNBA and how they're negotiating for a rev share so that they can participate in their upside, and how they have these bigger, larger than life stars in the league, and how that's affected the business of it. And I think that's the next step for the NWSL in particular.
Christen, how's Bob doing right now? Just doing a check-in. Live check-in.
Live check-in. Bob is
okay?
asleep because I put her in her home.
Okay. So that's
with a
process.
Kong with peanut butter in it.
Well played. Excellent live Bob check-in. Just listening to that answer there, Christen, I know you have Re-Ink, which is your company. I know you have Recap, which is your brilliant podcast, and that's just two of the things that you're doing. But just listening to you talk there, you know what came into my mind? This woman should be running women's soccer in the United States. You mentioned 20 things there that need improving, or you touched on 20 different things. Would that ever be that side of the business, that side of football? Would that ever be of interest to you?
Yes. I was listening to some WNBA podcasts about their negotiation, and it made me feel nostalgic which is crazy. Like, nobody likes the CBA negotiation, but it made me nostalgic because I negotiated 2 CBAs with the US Women's National Team. And I will tell you that I believe I was given a gift of football because I was put on this earth to do that. I have the reverse, obviously you speak to women athletes and you're like, we have 2 jobs. Like, we have to fight for ourselves and our rights, and we play football, and it's unfair. And I completely agree. But I believe that I was only given talent in football because I was supposed to be a part of that movement. Because, sitting across the table from lawyers and reading contracts and understanding how this kind of impossible language actually affects the day-to-day of the player, that was like my sweet spot. And after Equal Pay, I needed to take a break. I haven't been as involved in the NWSL Players Association as I was in the U.S. Women's National Team Players Association. But in the last year, just following the WNBA and all that they're going through has really inspired me. And it makes me excited about the next time. I mean, honestly, I hope we reopen the NWSL CBA. You know, we signed a really long deal, so we're going to have to reopen that thing. And I would love to be a part of it when we do.
Can I be in the room when you reopen it? I'm just...
Probably not.
Good answer. Christen, let me just ask you a little bit about to be reflective, because you have retired, although we're not 100% sure that you have, but you have retired. So looking back now, the international career, what I just want to focus on, if you could relive just one moment out of your entire US Women's National Team career, which moment would you choose to relive and why?
I have two coming to mind, so I'm going to make a hard choice.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't sit on the fence on this podcast.
Yeah.
Kristen, you know?
I know.
We don't.
I know. You got to give me a
don't.
second. Okay, I'm
No
going
problem.
to go with my very game. I was in Florida. We were playing against Scotland, and I started my very first cap, which is so weird. But I had been an alternate on the 2012 Olympic team. So I had actually been with the team for 6 months, but I was never going to play because I was an alternate. And I scored 2 goals in the game. And I played in my very first time in my life, I played in front of 20,000 people. And it felt like I was, Taylor Swift at a Taylor Swift concert, I was so blown away by what the dream actually felt like. And this is why I chose it. 2 reasons. Usually when you reach a dream, it always falls short. Your body can't process what it means to win a World Cup when you've won a World Cup. So you just sort of feel numb and smile because you think you're supposed to smile. But in this moment, I actually could feel the energy of the crowd and process that I had never experienced anything like that. And I had so much success in scoring 2 goals, which is the thing that I love to do the most. And the second reason I chose it was because it was emblematic of a career ahead. All the other moments that I love so much were the end of the career. They came after a decade of wearing that badge and fighting and all that it meant. But this game represented my future. In order to be on that team, it's the U.S. Women's National Team, like every international team, it's not a place where you stay. It's a shooting star experience. And it's going to burn you alive, right? So you get the time that you get on that shooting star and it's over. And in order to win World Cups, in order to fight for equal pay and inspire a nation, you have to be excellent every single time you step on the field. And I had spent what I felt like my entire life trying to get that call up, trying to get that first game, as we talked about. And if I hadn't scored 2 goals, who knows what would have happened. It felt like the magnitude of your early games was you get a chance. If you don't take that chance, your door might close. And being in the national team environment at that time was the only thing that could make you good enough to stay in that environment, because the gap between club and country was so great that playing club alone, I would never have caught up. Every month that I wasn't in camp, there was a gap was growing. And it felt for me that I had to seize that moment. And it opened the door for the rest of my career.
I love that.
Her debut was a love story. See that? That's a Taylor Swift song? No?
Got it. Kristen, I'm concerned that Bob has probably finished the peanut butter. So we're going to let you go in just a second, right? But just before you do, if you wouldn't mind, we've got a couple of, more than a couple of quickfire questions. Okay.
Yes,
You love a
this is my
quickfire
favorite.
round.
This is my favorite part.
Okay.
Go.
So don't feel you have to answer loads. You can just go quick. Best goal you've ever scored?
Against Spain in the 2019 build-up is in January in Spain. I dribbled it from half field.
Good start. Best stadium
I love the, sorry,
atmosphere
Rebecca. Sorry, Rebecca.
Yeah.
I love half field. I call it half. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm
Half
trying
field,
to.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Dribble it
great.
from
Sorry,
the
go on, carry
halfway
on. I
line
just
for
love
you,
it.
for your
Halfway
halfway
line for
line.
me. Yeah. Go on, play.
Best stadium atmosphere you've experienced?
Oh, playing against France in Paris in the 2019 World Cup.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, okay. Best city you've ever played in?
Ooh, maybe Vancouver.
Nice. Okay. Favorite tournament you've ever played in?
World Cup 2019.
Of course. Best defender you've ever gone up against?
Oh, I like this one.
You know, I'm going to go with Wendy Renard.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you know, I would have
Favourite
loved it if you
coach?
said Bob.
Me too.
Out in the park.
So hard. The dogs are so hard to get past.
She's
Sorry,
such a good
Rebecca.
defender, honestly.
She isn't. Yeah, I used to have a dog, right? And when I was 10, the best defender ever made me dribble past. Honestly, I become a very good dribbler. Sorry, Becca. Go on, carry on.
You're right there. I have a little boy, Christen, called Teddy. He's 9, and we don't have any other kids. And so Gus, our dog, we have a black and white border collie, is there every day because Ted's like, I have no brother and sisters, I have no friends. Thanks, Mum. I'm like, listen, I got you a dog, all right? So he's with, and I feel like we're making Teddy into Messi because Gus is literally Virgil van Dijk, just not the last couple of minutes. Okay,
That's
next
why
question.
I was Gerd Mueller, because I went up against a wiener dog my entire life.
Wiener dog. Thea, that's another thing. You don't know what wiener is. Anyway, favorite coach?
Torbjörn Nilsson. He was my coach my very first year in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Favorite pre-match hype song?
Oh, this is good.
No, I'm going to have the worst answer ever. You all are going to think I'm so weird. I listen to like meditative, spiritual music only.
Do you?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, like there is nothing about me that needs to be like hyped up. I need to be calmed down.
You and Bob. Favorite pre-game ritual that you had?
Pre-game ritual. Oh, you know what? This isn't even a ritual, but I just loved putting my hair up and putting all my sunscreen on because I felt like I was getting ready for war.
Yes. Yeah. People who play any kind of sport with their hair down, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry.
I
There's something
agree
wrong
with
you.
that.
Right? How can you play sport with your hair down? So you
No.
have to put it up. We're going to war. Right?
And it's like, I don't mean just like putting it up. Like it's like hairspray, brushes, it's getting
whole
pulled.
thing.
And like the tighter it is, then I feel like the
Oh, yeah.
stronger I'm going to be, you know?
Exactly.
And we also get a little facelift when we do that as well, which is
Exactly.
excellent. Favorite post-game meal, Christen? That's a good question.
Oh, just some like chicken tenders and fries, but I don't think I'm
Oh,
allowed.
yeah. No, you're not allowed now. Now you're going to go down. You're not allowed anymore,
Says who?
girlfriend. She's terrified. She'll never eat a chicken tender again. Favorite goal celebration you've ever done?
Oh, putting my arms in the air to honor my late mother.
Oh, that's beautiful. Favorite off-day activity?
Swimming in the ocean.
That's good. And final question, best piece of life advice you've ever been given, Christen Press?
I think someone's giving her life advice right now in the hallway.
Is that Bob? Or is
No,
that's
a
a
crazy
human.
person outside of my house. And they're so loud. Anyways, best life advice. I have to go from that to this.
Best life advice ever given. How about you tone it down, lady?
Oh my gosh, so sad. They're very disturbed. I would say, okay, this is also a little bit kooky. Someday you'll look into the sky and laugh because everything's perfect the way it already is.
Oh, Christen Press, you have come on here with such wise words. Honestly, you really have. Such interesting insight. You are going to be the next NWSL commissioner or head of US soccer. That is my prediction. Please clip that off and we can replay that all over social media when it happens.
I'll walk Bob for you.
Right, Taylor? It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
We are so, honestly, honoured to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. I wish you all the luck in the world with the next few months transition into retirement or semi-retirement or whatever it ends up being. Have a great time in Japan. Send our love to Bob. Send our love to Tobin. And we will speak soon. Thank you so much, Christen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.